Deep within the heart of an uncharted jungle, beyond the rivers that flow like silver veins and the towering mountains that touch the heavens, there lies a place hidden from the eyes of the world. A place so feared, so shrouded in mystery, that even the bravest souls refuse to speak its name too loudly. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and the whispers of ancient trees, their gnarled roots curling like fingers around the forgotten secrets buried beneath them. The jungle hums with life. Birds call out warnings from the treetops. Unseen creatures rustle through the dense undergrowth. And somewhere in the distance, the low, haunting growl of an unseen predator echoes through the mist. But deeper still, past the tangled vines and the endless green, there is something else, something darker, a place that time itself seems to have abandoned. They call it the gorilla's lair. For generations, whispers of the gorilla's lair have traveled through the villages that border the jungle, passed down from elders who warn their children never to wander too far. The stories are always the same, tales of those who dared to step beyond the threshold of the forbidden place, only to vanish without a trace. Some say the jungle itself swallowed them whole, that the vines crept around their bodies like silent hands and pulled them into the earth, never to be seen again. Others speak of a guardian, an ancient and powerful creature that watches from the shadows, waiting, listening, protecting something the world was never meant to uncover. Among the villagers, there are those who claim to have seen it. A monstrous silverback gorilla, larger than any beast known to man, its dark fur blending seamlessly with the shadows, its eyes gleaming like embers in the night. They say it moves without sound, appearing only to those who dare trespass into its domain. Those who have glimpsed it and lived to tell the tale speak of an intelligence in its gaze, something more than just an animal, something otherworldly. But the warnings do not end there. The jungle surrounding the lair is cursed, they say. At night, strange sounds fill the air. Deep, guttural growls that shake the ground, whispers that seem to come from nowhere, the distant, eerie echoes of drums that no one has played for centuries. But the most terrifying stories of all come from those who have lost loved ones to the lair. Hunters, explorers, even soldiers, men armed with weapons and experience, have entered, confident in their strength, only to disappear as if they had never existed. Search parties sent after them find nothing. No bodies, no signs of struggle. Just their abandoned gear, sometimes shredded as if torn apart by massive hands. The deeper one goes, the more the jungle resists. Compasses spin wildly, GPS devices fail, and even the most seasoned trackers lose their way. And then, there is the cave itself, the mouth of the gorilla's lair. Hidden behind a thick curtain of vines, it looms like a gateway to another world, its entrance wide and black, as if the jungle itself has carved out a place for something ancient and unknown to dwell. No one who has stepped inside has ever returned to tell what lies beyond the darkness. Despite the warnings, despite the disappearances, there are always those who refuse to believe. Some call it superstition, a legend exaggerated over time. Others see it as a challenge, an opportunity to uncover the truth hidden within the depths of the forbidden jungle. And so, a team of explorers, armed with cameras, satellite trackers, and the unshaken confidence that they will succeed where others have failed, sets out on a journey into the unknown. They are not the first to try, but they are determined to be the first to return. Maps in hand, they trace the stories back to their origins, speaking to the villagers, listening to the hushed voices that plead with them to turn back before it is too late. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. The more they hear, the more determined they become. They must see it with their own eyes. They must know what lies beyond the veil of fear. As they move deeper into the jungle, the world around them begins to shift. The air grows heavier, thick with an unnatural silence. The sounds of birds and insects fade, replaced by something else, something they cannot quite explain. a presence. The path ahead becomes more treacherous, as if the jungle itself resists their intrusion. Vines curl tightly around their boots, fallen trees block their way, and the dense canopy above allows only the faintest slivers of light to reach them. Then they find the first sign: a torn backpack, half buried beneath the leaves, its fabric shredded as if by massive claws. A rusted knife, snapped in two, and footprints, enormous, deep impressions in the damp earth, unlike anything recorded before. Whatever made them was not just large, it was powerful. The tension rises with every step, their voices lower to whispers, their movements more cautious. The jungle is no longer just a place, it is something alive, watching them, waiting. Then at last, they see it. The entrance to the gorilla's lair. A gaping hole in the earth, framed by ancient trees whose roots claw at the stone like desperate fingers. The air is colder here, the shadows deeper. For a moment, they hesitate. The stories, the warnings, the disappearances, all come rushing back in an instant. But they have come too far to turn back now. With a deep breath, they step forward, crossing the threshold into the unknown, unaware that from the darkness within, something is already watching. The air inside the lair is thick and unmoving, carrying the damp scent of earth and something else, something ancient. Every step forward echoes against the stone walls, swallowed almost immediately by the overwhelming silence. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing jagged rock formations and the glistening remnants of water seeping through the cave's ceiling. The deeper they go, the more the tunnel seems to narrow, as if the earth itself is closing in around them. Shadows stretch unnaturally along the walls, shifting with each flicker of light. Then, just as one of them whispers about turning back, a sound breaks the silence. A low, guttural rumble. Not the wind, not the shifting of rocks. Something else. Something breathing. Their hearts pound as they press forward, their footsteps slower, more deliberate. The path ahead widens, revealing a massive chamber. Stalactites hang like jagged teeth from the ceiling, and the ground is littered with bones, some animal, others too large, too unfamiliar to identify. In the center of the chamber, partially hidden by the darkness, is something massive, a hulking shadow, unmoving yet unmistakably alive. Their lights sweep across it, and for the first time, they see it, the legendary silverback. Its fur is thick and matted, its powerful form still as stone, but its eyes are open, watching, calculating. It is not startled by their presence. It has been expecting them. A wave of unease washes over them as they realize the truth. They are not intruders. They are prey. The gorilla shifts, muscles rippling beneath its thick hide, its breath slow and steady. It does not roar. It does not charge. It does not need to. Its sheer presence is enough to send a shiver down their spines. One of them reaches for a camera, but before they can react, the beast moves. A blur of motion, faster than anything its size should be capable of. A deep, resonating growl fills the chamber, vibrating through the ground beneath them. It is not a warning, it is a message. Leave, now. Panic sets in as the explorers stumble back, their minds racing. But something stops them, a glint of light reflecting off the cavern walls. Not just rock, something else. Strange markings, ancient symbols carved into the stone, half covered by the passage of time. The realization is instant. This place is not just an animal's den. It is something far older, something protected. And the guardian standing before them is not just a creature of the wild. It is a keeper of secrets they were never meant to find. Time seems to freeze as they stand face to face with the massive silverback. Its deep amber eyes lock onto theirs, unblinking, intelligent, aware. This is no ordinary beast. There is something more behind its gaze, something that sends a chill down their spines. It does not lunge, does not roar. It simply watches, and yet the weight of its presence is suffocating, pressing down on them like an unseen force. Every instinct screams at them to run, but they are rooted in place, unable to move, unable to breathe. Then, without warning, the gorilla rises to its full height. Towering over them, its broad chest expands as it exhales a deep, resonating growl that shakes the cavern walls. Dust and loose stones tremble beneath their feet. It is a sound not of rage, but of power, of dominance, a reminder that they do not belong here. One of them, trembling, slowly raises a hand, not in defense, but in surrender. A silent plea, an attempt to show they mean no harm. The gorilla tilts its head ever so slightly, studying them. For a moment, the tension is unbearable. Then it does something they never could have expected. It steps back, not out of fear, not in retreat, but in allowance. It does not attack. It does not chase them away. It allows them to stay. Confusion flickers through the group as they exchange nervous glances. Was this a test? A warning? Or something else entirely? Their eyes shift to the cavern walls, to the markings they barely noticed before. Strange symbols, worn by time but still legible, carved with precision into the stone. This place was never just an animal's den. It was something sacred, something forgotten. The symbols tell a story of an ancient civilization, of a time when humans and nature lived as one, when the gorilla was not just a beast, but a protector, a guardian of knowledge lost to history. The realization sends a shiver through them. The gorilla's lair was never a place of terror. It was a sanctuary. But those who entered with greed, with disrespect, with the wrong intentions, they were never seen again. The gorilla watches them still, its massive form standing like a statue before the ancient carvings. It does not speak, but its message is clear. They have seen enough. They have been granted a glimpse of something no outsider was ever meant to witness, but they will not be granted a second chance. It is time to leave. A heavy silence fills the cavern, broken only by the slow, measured breathing of the colossal silverback. The explorers stand frozen, hearts pounding in their chests, torn between fear and fascination. They have come seeking answers, and now they have them. But at what cost? The gorilla does not move to attack, nor does it retreat. It simply watches, waiting for them to make their choice. The weight of its presence is undeniable, an unspoken command lingering in the air. The markings on the walls, the bones scattered across the ground, the stories whispered by those who feared this place. All of it now makes sense. They do not belong here. They were never meant to enter. Slowly, one of them takes a step back, then another. The others follow, their movements careful, deliberate, as if any sudden motion might break the fragile balance between them and the guardian of the lair. The gorilla exhales, a deep, rumbling sound that echoes through the cavern like a final warning. This is their only chance to leave. No one dares speak. They turn, their flashlights casting eerie shadows along the stone walls as they retrace their steps. The passage narrows once more, the air thick with tension. The deeper they had gone, the more the jungle had resisted. Now it feels as if it is letting them go, allowing them to escape a fate unknown. Their breaths come fast and shallow as they reach the mouth of the cave, stepping back into the thick, humid jungle. The moment their feet touch the earth outside, the sounds of the wild return, the rustling of leaves, the distant calls of birds, the chirping of unseen insects. It is as if the jungle itself had been holding its breath, waiting to see if they would make it out. They glance back one last time. The entrance to the lair looms behind them, dark and uninviting, a gaping wound in the earth. But within the shadows there is nothing, no movement, no sound. The guardian is gone. The journey back feels different. The jungle that had once seemed suffocating, ominous, now feels strangely welcoming, as if relieved that its intruders have chosen to leave in peace. When they finally break through the dense foliage and return to the safety of their camp, reality begins to set in. They have seen something few have lived to tell. They have stood before a creature of legend, a guardian of secrets long buried by time. But the real question remains, should they share what they know? Should they reveal the truth about the gorilla's lair? Or would speaking of it invite something far worse than being forgotten? As they sit in silence, the jungle stretches endlessly around them, dark and endless. The lair remains hidden, untouched, waiting for the next soul foolish enough to seek it. And somewhere deep within, unseen and unheard, the guardian watches still, waiting, always waiting. Days pass, but the memory of the gorilla's lair lingers like a shadow in their minds. The images of the towering silverback, the ancient carvings, and the chilling silence of the cavern replay over and over, refusing to fade. Back in civilization, the world feels different, too loud, too artificial, too far removed from the raw, untamed reality they encountered deep within the jungle. They sit with their footage, reviewing every frame, every detail, searching for something they might have missed. The camera's shaky lens captures the moment their lights first landed on the guardian, the slow rise and fall of its breath, the glint of intelligence in its eyes. It is undeniable. This was no ordinary beast. But what now? Their hands hover over their keyboards, tempted to upload the footage, to reveal to the world the truth behind the legend. It would be groundbreaking, history-making. Scientists would scramble to explain it, explorers would rush to find the lair, and soon, the untouched sanctuary they had witnessed would become just another mark on a map, overrun and exploited. The weight of their discovery presses heavily on them. Some argue that the world deserves to know. Others warn that some secrets are meant to remain hidden. And then, almost as if the jungle itself is speaking to them, a realization settles in. The lair had let them leave. The guardian had given them a chance, a choice, to keep what they had seen sacred, or to destroy it. One by one, they make their decision. The files are encrypted, locked away, untouched. No interviews, no press, no announcements. The world will never know what they found. The gorilla's lair will remain a myth, a legend whispered by those who have never seen it and feared by those who have. But deep in the jungle, beyond the rivers and the mountains, past the tangled vines and the endless green, it still exists, hidden, protected, waiting. And for those who refuse to heed the warnings, those who believe they can uncover its secrets without consequence, the guardian is still watching. The world moves on, oblivious to what lurks in the heart of the jungle. The explorers return to their lives, but something has changed within them. The nights are restless, haunted by the memory of those piercing amber eyes watching from the darkness. In the silence, they hear the deep, steady breathing of the guardian, feel the weight of its presence as if it has followed them beyond the jungle's edge. They try to shake the feeling, convincing themselves it was only their imagination, a lingering effect of fear. But deep down, they know the truth. Some places leave a mark on the soul, and the gorilla's lair is one of them. Then strange things begin to happen. One by one, they notice it, subtle at first. A rustling in the trees when there is no wind. The sensation of being watched in the dead of night. A shadow that vanishes the moment they turn their heads. They tell themselves it's paranoia, the aftermath of their brush with something beyond understanding. But when they reach out to each other, they realize they are all experiencing the same thing. The jungle may be miles away, but its presence lingers, stretching beyond its physical borders. Had they truly been allowed to leave, or had they brought something back with them? And then the messages arrive, anonymous emails, unmarked envelopes, no return addresses. Inside are photographs, grainy, distorted, but unmistakable. Images of their expedition, pictures of them entering the jungle, frames of their flashlights illuminating the cave's entrance. But the final image sends a chill down their spines. It is a still shot from inside the lair, a single frame of the Guardian staring directly into the lens, as if it had always known it was being watched, as if it had been watching them all along. There is no explanation, no sender, no words, just a silent message that needs no interpretation. Some things should remain undiscovered. With trembling hands, they delete the files. The hard drives are wiped, the footage destroyed, every trace of their journey erased. The legend of the gorilla's lair will remain just that, a legend. No proof, no evidence, just whispers in the wind. But even as the last file vanishes, as the last photograph is burned, they know the truth. The lair is real. The Guardian is real. And somewhere, hidden in the depths of the jungle, it still waits for the next ones who dare to enter.